Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Inside Politics here on KTN News. Nobody can stop reggae. That is the headline on the Sunday Standard concerning the BBI rally in Mombasa yesterday. Mixed signals as BBI gathers pace. That's the headline on the Sunday Nation. That's what we're talking about this hour. We're talking about whether the issues are being tackled sufficiently in these BBI consultative meetings, whether it is more politics heavier than it is about tackling the issues. Mark Bichache was making a point before he threatened to walk out on the show. I hope you've calmed down. You can make your point. I was asking you, these issues, a lot of these issues that have been talked about, somebody somewhere can prove that they have been proposed or tackled on paper somewhere else.
Rightfully so, and that's what I was giving you. If you look at the United States, for example,
yes,
and the thorny issues about slavery and reparations to slavery, or most recently health care, or how they're taking care of their vets, or the land issue among the minorities within the United States, these are things that they have legislation, they have papers that have been written about it. But what does it take? It takes political goodwill in any country for things to get done. It is true of any country. All I'm saying is this. If Murkomen and his ilk as leader of Senate have been ignoring this issue, or even President Uhuru Kenyatta has been ignoring this issue, right, the BBI presents the people of Kenya an opportunity to push for those issues again. Let's remember what Martin Luther King said, that he has seen that day. He may not get there with the people, but he never stopped 1 minute pushing for the change that he wanted. It took 40, 50 years later for us to see the first black president in the United States. So you cannot say that because we've tried before, let us throw away the BBI report, which we all agree that, for example, the land issue is something that needs to be dealt with. That is what BBI is for. Because one of the first admissions of the BBI is Kenya has suffered poor leadership. And if we are going to change that poor leadership, then we've got to take it to the doorstep of Murkomen, doorstep of Raila Odinga, doorstep of Uhuru Kenyatta, and push for the changes that we need. And if BBI is giving you that opportunity, do not just be negative about it wholesale, simply because all countries take processes and take time to solve their issues. Okay. Give me an example of a country that does not have such.
Fair enough. Bwana Wakili.
Ben Kitili, I think at times we need to go to what the good writer says, too much fury and sound signifying nothing. We need to focus there. There is one thing that we need to also bring Bichachi to the context that recently Uhuru Kenyatta said there are some things that we don't need BBI to implement them. Everybody agrees that the things the report raises are fundamental issues. The issue like the one of...
So I said nothing, but you agree with me?
No.
Point
listen,
noted.
Bichachi.
Point noted.
Learn to listen.
No,
you don't need the school to be careful, to just be listening.
You don't need insults to make your point, but continue.
Yes. That's what I'm asking you. What we need from here. We don't need BBI to be told to make coconut a cash crop. If we have agreed that that's the problem bedeviling people of Mombasa, right, why don't we now send the Agriculture Committee a document to work on it? What we are saying is this. For us to fix the next republic, or the one we call the Fourth Republic, what we must fix more is not the law. What we must fix more is the software of we the people who constitute that republic. What we must fix moving forward is a republic whereby we do not need to say that our problems start and end with politicians. Half of the Kenyans' problems are brought by politicians. For example, today, we have problems of unity and accepting that I have been beaten in an election. It is not Kenyans who refuse results, it is politicians. So going forward, we must want, if we ask ourselves...
Don't focus on the law.
Let us not focus on the law, but focus in making sure that we as a people, the software, what we need to do is a transplant of the blood of Kenyans. And that cannot be done by us lying to each other. We agree that BBI is a nice document. Going forward, what we must do, and we must encourage Kenyans continuously to speak to each other, not against each other. So, and to end your point is this, Ben. The politics and what have you will not end around BBI, because you must know that underlying all this noise is one equation: succession.
All right.
Ben,
I would like...
Ben, you know when you say software of people needs to change, that's included in the BBI. When you say about conversations, that's what BBI is about. Thirdly, when you call me from Utopia and then quote me when I say that it's the software of Kenyans that needs to change, then say I've said nothing. You're contradicting yourself.
Okay. It's not about the argument,
let's be
Mark.
consistent. Let's be consistent. A conversation is needed about the Kenyan people, yes. Is BBI giving that opportunity? Yes. Our politicians need to change. Is the BBI document asking for our politicians to change? Yes. So what are we arguing about?
We're not arguing. We're making points.
Actually, is him only who is arguing?
Yes. In fact, usually I'm first here, I'm just looking, I'm like, you know, you're fighting on your own. But I want to, or fighting, I don't know who. I'd like to say, as a Kenyan, I want to separate BBI, this document that I call the Trojan horse, from BBI, the political process or the politics. For me, BBI, right now, as we see it manifest in the popularization roadshows, this is political. This is about succession. This is about power. I dare go so far as to say that BBI was put in place to neutralize, for example, the Tanga faction and specifically Deputy President Ruto. Am I saying that Deputy President Ruto is deserving of my or our sympathy? That's not where I'm going. I see the politics, you see the games. And now that Tanga have squarely landed themselves back in the arms of the BBI process, what is the next move? You see, this is all chess at the political level. And that's why I keep underscoring that despite the lovely document with ethos, I don't know, divisive elections, I don't know, shared prosperity, all of these things, despite all the flowery language in this particular report, ultimately at the core is politics. It's not about transformation of Kenya and Wakenya, but it's about consolidating and maintaining political power, therefore controlling the money, the economy in this country. That's how I see it. Right. So if you want us to break down how the politics played out in Mombasa, or how it played out in Buhungu, or how it plays out going forward, we can discuss that ad nauseum. But if you try and intersperse that with this is really about Wanjiku, Nafula, whoever, Mora, we are fooling ourselves. It is not about the ordinary mwananchi. So let's separate those. And as I say, the tools to address the issues of the ordinary mwananchi are already in place. And if they are not being implemented, utilized, adapted, modified by even those people whose taxpayers' monies pay them, then there's no BBI sweet-looking document that's going to change that.
Dismas, tell me this as we wind up. The Senate Minority Leader in Siaya, Senator James Orengo, said yesterday something I found very interesting. He says, he told the people, let's forget about 2022. Let's focus on a referendum. Is it looking more likely every single day, every passing day, that we're going to have a constitutional referendum?
Well, you know,
before the 2022 election.
What the ODM team or Raila Odinga has done is to get a piece of paper and come up with the critical success factors. What must I do to become president in 2022? So he knows that after these BBI, all these rallies, which are a response to Ruto's rallies for the last 2 years, he wants to neutralize those rallies in 2 months, and then we go for a referendum, and then he's hoping that he's going to get a majority win. And then from that, then we go to the election. That's the momentum he wants to maintain. So the moment you hear Senator James Orengo speaking, he's not speaking in his capacity. He's a special purpose vehicle. He's speaking because of the king has given him instructions.
Okay.
Now, when we go to South Sudan, you have Salva Kiir and Riek Machar. Those are the people who have got the highest level of political capital in South Sudan. And the reason why you can never get peace in South Sudan is you have the guys who have created the problem, you're hoping them to give you the solutions. They don't have strong institutions. So even for BBI in Kenya, we are not going to make progress if everything is going to be anchored on political personalities. We should be working on institutions. You even recall the leadership of South Sudan went to the Vatican, and you had an old pope kissing their feet, but they haven't moved. They haven't done anything. Even in Kenya, right now, BBI is a response to, elections we were told, depending on where you see it, that elections were stolen, that there was no justice. One would have expected that would be high in the priority list, right, that we are working out to sort out these election justices, whatever name we want to use. But the person who claims that his victory was stolen is very mum on IBC. Right. So when are we going to create those very strong institutions?
Very good question.
Because, yesterday, the only people who are fathering the nest are the governors. You may have heard them saying, we support the creation of regional governments. Now, Mura back in my village is not interested in creating a job for Paranya or for Joe. Mura wants to have a socio-economic lifestyle going to the next level. Yet you have these people, 24 of them gathered there saying, we want to create jobs for ourselves. Understand all of them are billionaires. So where does that leave Mura in Kisii or Nafula or Chepkemboi somewhere?
All right. Very good, pertinent questions there that a lot of people are saying the BBI rallies are not really addressing. We will continue to keep an eye on this as the BBI juggernaut continues moving now to central Kenya, where it will be very interesting to see how that plays out. The rallies have been held in largely ODM zones, so to speak. Let's wait and see how that continues to play out as the BBI rallies continue.